Hey guys, welcome back. It's Miss Chavez again, and I am continuing to talk about metaphors in our figurative speech series. So, our success criteria for today. We can use and understand metaphors in a sentence, and we will know that we have it when we can determine 4 of the 5 sentences on the metaphors quiz. You will also have another practice sheet and activity sheet to go with slash before your quiz this week. Time to DTT. So, metaphors, what are they? Metaphors are a figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally applicable. So, literally, like literally. We're saying it is something, but it's not physically that same thing. So, in English, Ms. Chavez, we are comparing two things without using the words like or as. Why? Because that means it's a simile. And if it's a simile, it can't be a metaphor. And metaphors are a comparison that is a little bit more indirect, and it's usually made by stating something is something else. For example, the computers at school are old dinosaurs. So this sentence is saying that these computers literally are old dinosaurs. Now, of course, we know that they're not, but if we look at the meaning, they mean that the computers are so old that they should be extinct because they no longer can function or connect with any of the new updates and newer systems that computers are using. So, why are metaphors important? Why do we use them in speech? Why do I need to teach you about them? Why do you need to learn and remember them? Metaphors help writers and poets make a point in a more interesting way. They also help the reader to see something from a new perspective, and it may provide clarity or identify hidden similarities between two ideas. And that goes back into seeing things from a new perspective, realizing that two things that you think are completely different actually do have quite a few similarities and points of crossing over. All right, I'll go ahead and read the right side and then I'll talk about the left side. So, with metaphors, let's see the difference. Her long hair was a flowing golden river. So we are comparing her hair and its movement to the movement of a flowing river. And we know that her hair is golden. So usually if you have golden hair, it just means that you have blonde hair, which we can see in the non-figurative sentence over on the right-hand side that says her hair is long and blonde. Great. But it's a little bit more interesting, it's more fun to read, and we get a clearer visual image when we read her long hair was a flowing golden river because we get motion as well as just physically her hair being long and blonde. So the second sentence is his eyes were ice as he stared at her. So we are comparing his stare to ice. It's cold, it's emotionless almost. The opposite of when you are acting up in the store and your mom shoots you that look and you know you're gonna get it. It's empty. It's ice, it's cold. So on the right-hand side, we just see that he stared at her. This version on the left, using a metaphor, lets us know how. It gives us a hint at the emotion behind it and maybe what they are thinking or feeling. In the third sentence, the children were flowers grown in concrete gardens. So we are comparing the children to flowers. Children grow and need to be nurtured just like plants do. And when you live in cities, which is typically what they are implying when you talk about concrete gardens, is more urban city. Think of Springfield or Chicago. Um, it's harder for plants to grow there because they don't get as much like care and nutrients because there's not a lot of open soil. It's all concrete. So the children were grown and nurtured there and helped fostered to grow. And on the right hand side, we can see the children grew up in the city. All right, so I will go ahead and exit out of present mode and I will type with you. The first question is, what is the definition of the word metaphor? Now, before we answer, let's keep in mind, use our question stems, use correct capitalization, punctuation, and spelling. Thanks, lovelies. Okay, so what is the definition of the word metaphor? The definition of the word metaphor. It is okay to sound things out as you type. I think you should. It's easier and you make less spelling mistakes if you do. The definition of the word metaphor is a comparison, usually stating that something literally is something else. All right. Now, second question. Complete the sentence using a metaphor. The wind. Hmm. What could we compare the wind to? What does it sound like to you? To me, a lot of times the wind can sound like howling, like a howling wolf. So I'm going to say the wind was a howling. All right, and the third sentence. Is this sentence a metaphor? Let's look and analyze. This example sentence that we have here is, the bar of soap was like a slippery eel during the dog's bath. Now, we said, and we know from our earlier slide, that if we use the words like or as, it is no longer a metaphor, it is now a simile. Do we see these words in this sentence? The bar of soap was like a slippery eel during the dog's bath. So no, this sentence is not a metaphor. But can we make it a metaphor? Absolutely. I'm so glad you asked. Yes, we can make this a metaphor. And all you have to do is take out this word right here. Because then the sentence reads, the bar of soap was a slippery eel during the dog's bath. It's still comparing the two ideas. It still conveys the same meaning, but it's now a metaphor instead of a simile. All right, let me go back to present. So, as always, feel free to let us know any questions, comments, or concerns that you have for us. And please keep telling us celebrations. We love to hear good things that are happening in your life. And other than that, we're all done. Keep using your inferencing and context skills. I'm loving hearing your participation in the live chats. And as always, I challenge you to continue to use different figurative speech along with your new vocab words in our class discussions. Thank you guys so much. You are awesome. We are all done.